Hey, welcome. This is a practice on stabilizing and strengthening the hips. So if you're working on deeper squats, if you're trying to sit more comfortably on a block, even in this position here, this is a practice to help stabilize the hips in that position. I would recommend doing some sort of opening practice before. So just trying to loosen out the hips, open the fascia and the inner thighs before you go into the strengthening and stabilizing of things. You might notice a lot of disbalance in these practices. That's okay. Just accept it because it's probably going to be there for a while. We don't need any blocks for this practice, so just feel free to come down onto the hips, and then we'll get started. So when you're here, I'm on the right hip right now. If you want to do the left side, that's fine. My right foot and left knee are touching and my right arm is down. And very simply, just bring the left hand onto the hip and then try to lift the knee up. And just do this a few 100,000 times and it'll wake up some of the muscles that we need to get deeper into that core, deeper into that squat, I meant. So my knee isn't going so far up, that's okay. You want to feel in your hand that there are some muscles turning on at the top of the hip, pulling the thigh up. And as you bring the knee down, you can just try to relax that for a second. Okay. Give it a second, deep breath in. Kick your left foot out a little bit, so my knee is now at 90 degrees, and then do the same thing again. So you're lifting just a little bit, enough that you feel that you're working on the outside of the hip. The glute is working. You feel the muscles at the top of the thigh engage. Oh man. You know, if you need a little bit more power in this practice, that's okay. You try to add a little bit more strength, but these exercises are mainly geared towards activating the right muscles and balancing the body, not necessarily to make you super strong. Now you're going to lift the knee up. Keep the inside of the foot on the mat. Try to lift up enough that you really feel the hip working. We're going to release and twist to the right side. So you can bring the left hand on the right knee, twist, keep the left knee up, and then reach the left knee away from you. Inhale deeper. Exhale. And then you're going to reach the left knee away from you. Exhale, see if you can twist. Inhale, lift the knee higher. Exhale, maybe twist a little deeper. Inhale. Exhale. Just staying exactly where you are. Inhale. Exhale, slowly bring the knee down and twist all the way back. I'm going to roll back, bring the feet soles together. You can lift the hips up and slowly bring the hips a little bit closer to the heels, and then just very softly rock a little bit to the left and right. And bring the right leg down and extend the left leg out. So we're not too much to the left, but just in front. We'll turn a little bit like this. Twist over the right thigh. And then try to push out of the left leg. So pushing out of the left heel, pulling the toes back in. Lengthen the front side of the body. Deep breath in and out. Imagine trying to lift your leg up just a little bit without collapsing on the front side. So don't crunch in. Just think about lifting. And it might not work today, that's okay. Exhale. On the next inhale, lift the chest up and twist to the right. On the next inhale, lift the chest even higher and imagine your left leg becoming 5 kilos lighter. You're trying to lift the leg up without collapsing on the front side. Just lighter, not necessarily lifting it up, just trying to engage the muscles that would lift your leg up. Top of the thigh, outside of the hip. Keep engaging. Toes coming back. Deep breath. Exhale. Release, relax. Shake out the leg a little bit. Now, same arm, right arm comes down. You're extending out of that left leg. Reach the left arm up, and then slowly think about reaching that leg up again. As you twist a little bit to the right side, think about reaching that left leg up, and if it's not coming up today like mine, that's okay. You leave it down, but think about it. Imagine the leg is coming up with length. Yeah, your spine is nice and long. Exhale, release. Slowly come out. Bring the feet soles together again and let the hips just rock a little bit to the right and left. Keeping the chest up. Keep the chest up. Rocking from the hips, okay? Just try to loosen out anything in the lower back or in the belly. And then now bring the feet into a squatting position. So if you're all the way back here, that's okay, but what I want you to try to do is get the pelvis to shift and roll forward. You're going to lift the hips up just a bit, so I'm using my hands to stabilize the body. And then you're going to bring the hips up and reach them forward. Walk the hands up and bring yourself into a nice squat. All right? Heels are trying to stay down, and instead of releasing and putting all the tension and strength, use your arms here. Really use the arms. Use the arms to keep the body nice and long, the upper body nice and long. Now imagine reaching the knees over the feet, over the toes, the small toe. Imagine trying to rip your mat apart. If possible, you walk a little bit more forward. Maybe you can come into that squat. Maybe you don't, that's okay. And then instead of sinking all the way into the flexibility, lift the hips up just a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 inches, so that the glutes are really firing. Two more breaths. So as low as you can go with the knees down, or the heels down. When you're ready, release. Wah! We're going to switch sides over onto the left hip. So the right knee is touching the inside of the left foot. And then bring the right hand onto the right hip. You can lift a few times just to wake up the muscle. You might already be feeling like one leg is more out of balance. give it time to come into balance. And if you feel like one leg is very loose and flexible and open, bring some stability there. If you feel like one leg is very tight, strong, and stable, create some mobility there. All right, kick the foot out just a bit. So my knee's at 90 degrees. Lift the knee up. Lift the chest up. Reach out of the right knee. Inhale deep in and out. And you can bring the knee down again a few times, up and down. Really try to focus on bringing the strength from the right hip. That's what's pulling the knee up. And then lift. You're going to reach the right knee a little bit away from you and then twist away. So the right hand is on the left knee. Twist away. Press and reach out of the right knee. You can imagine the right knee trying to get closer to the small toe. Inhale, lengthen. And if possible, exhale, twist a little bit deeper. It should be okay. I mean, there's a lot of screaming in the right hip, but it should be okay. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Make sure your knee isn't dropping like mine. Exhale. Inhale, reach the knee up. One more time, exhale, twist. Inhale, stay here. Exhale, stay here. Inhaling all the way back in the center and exhaling. Ooh, dropping the knee down. You can pull the legs in. And then we're going to slowly rock a little bit left and right. So use the hands behind you to keep the hips nice and open and stable, that you're not collapsing in the lower belly or collapsing in the chest. We're slowly going to come out of it again. You're going to extend the right leg forward and keep the left knee down. Again, if it's really hard for you to keep the left knee down as you're sitting here and you're, in this position here, put something under the hips. Put a block, put a pillow, a few blankets. That works absolutely fine. Should be no pain on the inside of the knee. We're going to twist softly to the left side over the bent knee. Inhale. And all you're doing is reaching out of the right leg, pushing and pressing out of the right leg. So I'm actively pushing out of the heel. Just trying to lengthen here. You can inhale and lift a little bit out of the chest, and then exhale as you move a little bit deeper into a spiraling twist. Inhale, lifting. Maybe exhale, twisting a little bit deeper. Now think about your right leg. Try to reach the right leg up, which means that your right hip is going to go down. Your right hip, the sitting bone, is going to want to come a little bit towards the ground. Try to find the engagement. Try to find the length. And if it's not there today, if it's not lifting, that's fine, it's okay. Keep working. And slowly release, coming out of it very softly. This time, bring the left arm down. You can bring the right arm up. Now, some of the movements can be challenging. Push out of the heel. That's okay. instead of trying to hit a certain pose or what it's supposed to look like, think about lifting the thigh now, lifting the long, long leg, 5 kilos lighter. So instead of trying to hit what the pose is supposed to look like, what I want you to focus on is what's happening through your leg. Notice through your body if there's any movement, energy movement, anything shaking, convulsing that's trying to get out. You can imagine pushing it out of the leg. And your inhale should help with that. 2 more breaths. Exhaling, releasing. Bring the foot back, place the hands behind you, and again, you can rock a little bit left and right. Keep the chest nice and up. And then we're going to bring the feet flat on the mat. You can lift the hips up. So try to get the distance right at the moment. You're going to be moving towards your squat, so you can shift the hips forward and then come back over the arms, shifting forward and then coming back. Trying to keep the heels down, trying to rip the mat apart, coming down and back. Slowly walk the hands forward. You can come onto the fingertips. Keep the chest nice and lifted. Try to find stable. So if you're really high, you can even use blocks to support the hands so that you can try this. Or maybe a couch or something at home, whatever. And now, try to move into your version of a squat. What you can also try doing is rolling the mat and placing it under the heels if that's really something that you're struggling with here. Now, in this version, bring the arms a little bit up. See if you can lift the hips a little bit more so we're not so much into the flexibility of the pose, but really engaging into the strength. One more breath. Deep in. Deep out. Sink. You can bring the elbows on top of the knees. Now we're not collapsing completely here, so try to stay a little bit strong in the legs, but I want you to use the upper arms and press against the knees. Take another 2 breaths. Lifting the chest. And imagine pulling the hips towards the heels. Slowly come out of it. Now, if you're anything like me, oh, my legs need a break. If you're moving into the energetic practice related to the hips, you can come lying down, seated on a chair, whatever's comfortable.